Get this one. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Yes, I'm good.
All right, what are we working on today?
It's one the like mini lesson plan thing for my 355 the Wednesday course. Mm, this is how the template for it looks like.
Okay.
For the so-called two of them is I mean like for one or two of these, I have to do a math and a science.
Gotcha.
And then what I had done this previous Tuesday, my cooperative teacher said for the planting section of it could have been involved math. So I was not sure like should I use like which part of my little lesson plan that I just presented this past Tuesday for one of these or like all of them for here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because I think I have most of these here already from
Okay.
what I have on my little lesson plan thing.
Awesome. And you just have to add math.
I think what I need to add, I'm not really sure what, because I'm not sure, is it this part, this framing the theory? It seems like what I have from my little lesson plan this past Tuesday is it does follow everything here, but because what I have is like a mix of everything. What I have,
Okay.
this is what I had for the lesson plan this past
Yeah.
Tuesday. It had like a lot, like it had science, math, not math, reading and art in
Okay.
here. Uh, I'm not sure what to take to make it just like math and just science from here.
And it has to be, it's like basically the same lesson plan. It's not, you're not creating a new one.
Because my professor for this Wednesday course did say for these little lesson plans I could like use what I did for another class. Maybe just like change some of the wording, maybe. But like yeah.
Okay. How could you incorporate math into it?
They said well my cooperative teacher the from the daycare on campus said for the planting part, when they were so called or like steps, like those steps, like the steps of the planting and then
Okay.
maybe the counting of the seeds. But like it's not really a lot of would not be a lot of math there. But yeah.
Gotcha.
But I think I got the science part, but like I'm not sure like
Yeah.
what from what I have here to make here for the science. But I kind of have some I don't really have math in my thing, but I have science.
Okay. How could you incorporate math?
Um because I'm not sure because but from what my teacher said, she said maybe the counting of the or the steps in the planting.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm not sure like how would I because this seems like there's already I have kind of like the science section ish in some here. And then I can somehow make the math with this too. But I'm not sure like what from here should I put in that one, the other lesson plan thing template.
Uh, I'm not sure. Yeah, I wouldn't, I'm not, I don't really know that. What do you think?
Because I kind of do have what this one have. This is the other class one. I answer some of these from what I have there, but I'm not sure like what to take from that one that I presented last week into here.
I'm not sure. That's kind of tricky because, like, your teacher said it was okay,
Yeah.
so it is okay, But typically, like, you're not supposed to do
Yeah.
Obviously, it's okay now.
Mhm.
But I don't know then how much she expects. I've never done anything like that, so I don't know what she expects you to take over and what to not.
Because this one is, it seems like it's a simpler version in some ways
Okay.
of a lesson. Because it's just what she has right now is like one page, but like if I put everything into it here, it might be more than one page. It might be 2 or 3 page of everything,
Okay. So you're wondering, like, how do you condense more?
or like have what I yeah or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would just take like then what like the most important info on each one is, and kind of leave out some of those details that you have, but try to keep the outline the same. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because it seems like for this one, I don't think I need to put like the directions like steps. Think.
That makes sense.
I don't think I see steps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I see
Yeah, I would
steps.
just go through and make sure again, like how we've done it, that you answered each one of those little points, just taking them one at a time and kind of treating it like a checklist.
Or should I change the grade, like the grade, because what I have right now is preschool, and then for these little lesson plans before for this class, it'd been like either kindergarten, first grade, or second grade.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm not sure what I changed the grade for what I have for my lesson that I did this past Tuesday to
yeah,
make it.
because you're not presenting this lesson.
For these, just like creating it and then
Okay,
turning it in. So I'm not presenting, so that's why there's no reflection here at the
gotcha.
bottom. There's this theory at the end here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to you what you want to do with it. If you want to try doing a higher grade level, then I would say that'd be useful. If you want to stick to what you know, then that's totally fine. It's up to you.
Yeah. Because I think if I were to change the grade, I would need to change the so-called standards and stuff. But I
Yeah,
think the objectives I still can keep.
yeah. I mean, you would need to change a lot more if you change the grade. Um, but also that might be fun. It might be
Uh-huh.
interesting to try it. But it's up to you. You know.
Um, because I think for this, for one of these two little lesson plan things, for the science and math, I'm not sure what I would do for math if my little thing right now don't really have math for it.
Yeah. Again, that's kind of up to you. I can't really tell you what, like, not like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I want to go into, but like, I don't know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's really up to you how you want to present that. And it's like I think preschool it's going to be pretty basic math, like
Mm-hmm.
addition might be challenging. You know, like if it's first or second grade, that might look different. You might introduce. I'm not very familiar with like when you teach like. And you might do some research on like when do you teach addition, when do you teach division, you know,
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's kind of up to you. Again, I would suggest looking at examples of like first grade math lessons if you want to do first grade.
Uh-huh.
Just not copying it,
Oh
obviously,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
take a lot from those suggested lesson plans.
For this theory part, is that similar to what I have on mine, which is like the element 12, I think it was?
Yeah, the like I forget what it was. It was like structured learning something. It was like that.
Is it this?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you could use constructivism learning theory again. You could find a different one, but exactly like that. And again, just like going through and checking off all those boxes.
Okay. Because I think at the same time it seems hard because I need to make I might not need to make another one, but like for the lesson.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It sounds like it is going to be not as much work, but it's going to be still like similar work compared to your other ones. Did you get feedback on this recent lesson plan?
I got it seems like it was a bit better for this one. I still got a bunch of ones. I got like
Okay.
two or three or four twos, and then
Okay.
one or two NAs.
Okay.
The highest for all sections is so far are three. I still haven't got, but it was better than last time.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
for this
Yeah,
lesson plan I did this past Tuesday.
that's good. That means you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Um, Again, I think that the examples are going to be the most helpful for you,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're wanting to, um, start getting those threes for your lesson plans.
Mm-hmm.
Is especially if your teacher has provided you with example lesson plans,
Mm-hmm.
really using those to structure yours.
Okay. Yes. Uh. So yeah, because my professor did say these I can't really I think it was in the syllabus that I can use what I did for the clinical. So from here, would I really just maybe change some of the wordings and then add it over there, or like some?
I mean, it's up to you. It's like if you do want to do that, then like if your teacher's fine with that, then great. I would also think about the feedback you got on each of those sections. Like, got good feedback on it, then yeah, just like if your teacher's fine with it, just like put it over. If you didn't get good feedback on it, you might think about how you can edit.
Yeah, because I think the NA was like the same. It was the same NA as last time for one of the for this lesson plan I had last time.
Like technological, I think was last time.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was that.
Yeah,
It was the same for this one too.
cool. Yeah, I mean, like thinking about just like how you could maybe incorporate technology. It's really like at this point, you know how to do it.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you're just going to be thinking about the feedback you got and how to incorporate.
Yeah, for this one, it seems that it is a simpler version of what I did for that other class. In some
That's good.
ways, this is simpler with like less
Yeah,
questions and stuff.
yeah, and just like each one of those things, like what assessments will you use? Like just directly answer that question. Be like, I will use this assessment.
Be-
I
mm,
will use a math worksheet with 10 questions, you know, 10 additional
for
questions.
this professor, this professor don't like worksheets, so like I need to somehow find a different thing to
Okay.
replace
And
the
yeah, that would be
idea of
another
worksheet.
great area to do some research, like Google kind of what you could do there.
Because the professor don't really like the idea of worksheets to like
Yeah.
as an assessment or like thing for the students in the
Okay.
thing. So I need to find something else other than a worksheet to incorporate for that part. The but for the assessments, I don't think I have in the assessment. Meant for what I did was the so-called the drawing of the plant. of what they think it would look like, and then they did the planting.
Okay.
But I didn't really ask like questions and stuff for it. So we're not sure what kind of assessment I would use for that.
Yeah, I'm not, like I wish I could help more with the actual creating the
Mhm,
lesson.
yeah.
Yeah, because I don't, I wish I had a better answer.
Mhm.
I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know either. Sorry.
Because that part, I'm not sure. I can see what my professor has said for that part.
Yeah.
Because last time when I did that other one, the drawing, she said was okay for assessment. But I'm not sure this time since I did the little so-called, it seems like I did 3 activities
Yeah.
in one lesson plan. Yeah, they were saying it was a bit too much in some ways since it's like
Okay.
3.
Yeah, I mean, and I would just like point back to like, you don't have to create anything new. You can use resources other people have created.
Mm-hmm.
You can like look at your textbook. Even if I would even, if you're like really stuck, I would even ask your teacher.
Okay. Because it was I'm not sure the assess. Yeah, yeah, and it was for the technology too, like
Okay.
last time. And then collaborative relations, like working with others.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I did get kind of like 2 NAs on mine.
Okay.
Um, I don't think I can. I don't know what the assessment was. There because I think from that little scoring guide she had for this past Tuesday, that little one on the thing, I don't see about the assessment that I had.
No feedback on it, you're saying?
I'm not sure which part of it is that. I could share you what it has.
Yeah.
This is it.
Okay.
I'm not sure like which section of these is the assessment. If it is. Is it this part? This knowledge?
And these written lessons reflect the knowledge about the content of each portion of this. Interesting.
Would that be the assessment part?
Is there any more areas?
Here.
Keep going. Like, yeah, like maybe, but let's see if there's anything more specific. Because I agree, like, so far, nothing is really. No, not really. Going, going.
This one don't have no feedback.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like she gave you like specific feedback on the assessment.
But does it? Is there one little of these that seems like it's the assessment?
Like, you know, maybe like a little bit on each one of them, but nothing that's like, oh, her assessment was, nothing has been specifically about your assessments yet.
Because I think I didn't see anything about it and stuff.
But instructional. Keep going. Going. Go. There it is. Keep going. Assessment. An assessment checklist was developed. Consider more details to define what excellent progress in other categories mean. Consider what children will say and do to demonstrate this. Okay, so you got 2 points on the assessment.
Yeah.
So that means you were doing some stuff right, which is really good. And then, so she's kind of saying, oh, how do you kind of assess a little bit more? It sounds like give more specific.
The little thing I did for the assessment is the same I did for the other one, the other lesson plan thing. I kind of kept what I had last time in that little thing. But like last time she said that it was a rating scale, but now it seems like she's saying it's a checklist. So
okay, yeah, and I mean like, it's more about just like how are you gonna be checking consistently and thorough? Like math would be I don't see how I would ask about math. Like I honestly don't know how you wouldn't use a worksheet to assess math because it's like prove to me how to add without adding almost. It's like, yeah, you would need to ask addition questions. So maybe it's like if you did like verbal questions or something, but that might be something I would bring up I would look for math examples. That one's kind of tricky. But I would maybe look up examples of math assessments for whatever grade you're thinking.
Okay. So this part is the assessment here for what I had.
Cool.
I'm not sure. Did I so far have a desirable result for my thing for that one?
What do you mean? Say that again.
That question, the first question here, that like what my desired results.
So yeah, like if you're like teaching, let's say you're doing a spelling lesson. It's like, well, you would want them to learn how to spell 5 different words by the end of the lesson. Like give a specific idea. Like if it's addition, it's like, oh, I want them to be able to add 2 single-digit numbers together. Something like that.
Okay. So the 4 areas is these standards, results, objective, and assessment, right? Would those be the 4? Because that's the only 4, and that's so-called step 1 and 2. For the last question.
Be the 4 for what?
For the 4 areas that should be aligned. Are those like the 4 areas? Because those are the only 4 in this section.
I think so, yeah. That would be my guess.
For that second question, that one I could just find, right? Like what standard? Or would that be I put in the standard here too? What I have.
Sorry, I'm just reading. So that's going to be something from your book,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that part said like only if for your preschool, is that so-called referencing if I use my clinical one?
Say that again.
This part only if your lesson is for preschool, is that like kind of in some way, since she said I can use what I have for the clinical course, that be like the for the preschool.
Sorry, I'm not sure I understand your question.
Like
Illinois
the
Early Learning Standards.
yeah, that one be for the preschool age part.
Yeah, that sounds like it's only for preschool.
I think what I found mine was I don't remember which one I used. It's for preschool age, but I searched I had searched it up. I don't know like what's is it that standard or different? Which of those it was? It's the Illinois Early Learning Standards. Is that one here? Is that one? Yeah, that's the preschool one. Yeah, the Illinois Early one. I used that one. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Um, and then for the learning activity, how for this question, how you will achieve your learning objectives? Like, what is it really asking?
So, like, if your learning objective is again like to have them spell 5 different words, or like to learn how to spell together or something, then how are you going to get there? Are you going to break up the word into 3 different parts? Are you going to like repeat it a bunch of times with your class? Like, I think that's basically asking, like, how are you going to teach your lesson?
Okay, and then like that, the next question is a continuation of that first one.
Describe the activity or activities. How will students engage in it? Yeah, yeah.
So these questions are somehow connected in
I
some way.
think that the first one is a little bit more broad, and
Uh-huh.
the second one is more specific. Like, if you're, for example, you're like, oh, I'm going to use a planting activity, and then you would describe the activity. Like, okay, I'll have them get the soil and then put the seed in the soil. So I think the first one it's like very broad, and the second one is more specific.
Oh, okay. Mm, that part, in that first one, the description of classroom and students, is that like a brief description of,
Could you
or
highlight it for me?
yeah, uh, this
Oh, there.
this part.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like, what does the classroom look like? Who are the students? Is it like, are they all sitting at individual desks? Are they sitting at a group table? Kind of whatever you think is important.
Okay. Mm. For this the differentiation part here.
I mean, this is another one that I'm going to have a hard time kind of telling you how, but it's
Mm-hmm.
basically like, how are you going to teach different levels of students?
If I were to really what I have in that mind is number 13 here. I'm not sure what I have because that section two be okay for what I have over there
I don't know. Yeah.
because this is actually kind of the same questions. It's a waste.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean that would be once again like I would just when you're looking at math, I would just
mhm.
research and look what it says online. Anything that you can find that's not just you saying it is going to be really helpful.
Okay. Yeah, I think this my thing kind of have more science than math. Uh, for the math one, I don't know what I would really do. Would it
Yeah,
maybe
I would do
another
some research.
activity in some way?
Yeah.
It seems like it have a bit more science than math here.
Okay.
For the math one, I need to find something.
Yeah.
Do you think I can still use what I have for the number 13 and those other parts, or
Um,
I did change some of
it's up
this?
to you. You know,
Uh-huh.
if it's strong enough, then yeah. You don't think so, then I would, you know, add a little, take a little away, whatever you think best answers it.
Um, okay, so like for what I have this past Tuesday, for the science part, would it really just be that planting part?
I, I, I think it's hard for me to give you any advice
Uh-huh.
on what to put in or not.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think that's kind of up to you. I'm more of like a, you know, I can help you with the writing portion and
Yeah.
understanding the questions, but
Mm-hmm.
it's hard for me to help you create the lesson.
Yeah, I know. It would be kind of like the planting one in some ways, right? Because they're kind of learning about those stuff.
Not sure.
Um, then if I were to like so called make it just the planting part, um, would it be about like 15 to like 10, 15 minutes for that little part?
No,
Um,
it's really your lesson plan.
uh-huh.
So it's how you structure. If you want it to be 10 to 15 minutes, then you make it 10 to 15 minutes. You know, like as long as you can justify it being 10 to 15 minutes, then you're good. Like if it's just like, oh, I'm going to have them add two and three, and that will take up 20 minutes. It's like, no, that makes no sense. But if
Uh-huh.
you're like, as long as it makes sense.
Alright. I think really it's the part I might struggle with is really the maybe the results part and the
Okay.
assessment here for the thing. I'm not sure.
So what are you struggling with?
I'm not like I'm not sure like what kind of results I would be looking for from my little lesson that I will be doing. Uh of that.
So that's where you should start.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to teach them how to plant a plant, then that's your result. If you want to teach them how to add, then that's your result. And then you build the lesson plan off of that.
From the results part?
Yeah. So that's where you're going to start. What do you want the outcome to be of this lesson? What do you want them to learn? What do you want them to be able to do by the end of it? And then you build your lesson plan off of that. You build your assessments off of that. You do all that off of what you want the answers to. So just like the classes you're taking,
Mm-hmm.
they'll always start with like, oh, today we're going to learn about this. We're going to learn about teaching students with IEPs.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole lesson is about teaching students with IEPs.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have an assessment about that. That will be like, did you learn about teaching students with IEPs? So really, that's where you start. And then you're kind of figuring out how to assess that, how to plan. But that's kind of like, you got to figure that. You got to figure out what you want this lesson to do.
From that part first.
Yeah. Start there and then kind of, it's not you're working backwards, but like you're starting with your results and then you build your lesson plan.
Okay. So what each the step 3 and these other the last two little boxes here be like a paragraph each in some ways for the answers?
I'm what is there like if there's not a length requirement, I would say whatever it takes to fill till you feel like you've answered the question.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of up to you,
Uh-huh.
like, but again, go through it like a checklist,
Uh-huh.
just make sure you've thoroughly answered how will you achieve your learning. Make sure you've answered how will you support diverse learners. Consider how to. So tell me how you're going to support ELL, gifted, students with special needs. What principles of universal design will you support? Make sure you answer each of those questions. And if you feel like you've answered them, then you're good. If there is a length requirement, then you have to do both. You have to make sure you thoroughly answered it and fit in the length.
I think from what I have for the other one this past Tuesday, I didn't really have answered those questions about the ELLs, gifted or the students with special needs.
Okay. So yeah, go through those and make sure you get each of those in your answers.
Is there a is there a difference between the first and the second question? Like the how will you support the diverse, and then consider how you will support the three here?
Yeah, I think that's another case of like the first one is more broad, the second one is more going into depth in it. So you're
So
right.
is it two different questions or is the same one?
It depends on how you answer it. I think if you answer the second one, you answer the first. Does that make sense?
So just okay.
So
Okay.
focus on answering the second one. Make sure you answer the second one, and then that will basically answer the first. You might go into other diverse, like if you have other ideas, then you can answer that. Will go into the first one, but as long as you answer the second one, then that's the more important part to answer. The second and third questions.
Okay. Um. So for the step 1 and 2, I just have to make sure everything connects, right? Because that's what that little last part here said here, that everything should match.
Oh, I see. What do you mean everything should match?
It said this here.
Basically, like everything should go back to your basically your desired results. It's just saying like that these four areas should all be related. Like your assessment should tie into your objectives. Does that make like basically if your objective is to teach addition and your assessment has subtraction on it, then it's like, well, then it's not aligned. Like then your objective would be to teach addition. Does that make sense?
Okay. I think what I might struggle with is really this section. This step 1 and 2 with the results and somehow finding a assessment to match up with the results here. For it, and that would really.
Yeah, that's where I would go to an example, either in your book or that your teacher has given you, or that you just find online of a lesson plan. Like if it's a math lesson plan, search like math lesson plans for first graders, and really like look at how those is like look at that lesson. Don't just like blindly trust it. See if it matches all this stuff, and if it does, then kind of build your lesson plan based on. I would start with your class materials on D2L. See if there's a lesson plan there. If you don't find a good one, then I would go to your textbook. If there's nothing still there, I would be kind of surprised if there's nothing there. But if there might not be. And then I would go to the internet and just kind of try to find it.
Okay.
So D2L, textbook, and plan.
And so for the question up here for that lesson part, it's really just filling in these little things here in that little white box, right? For those questions up here.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it looks like.
So that second question is asking for that description here, right? Of the class.
I think so. Yeah. So it's like kind of going back to like if you're what about the students is important to consider as you teach the lesson. Like if the students are all sitting at the same table, like you'll want to be more aware of classroom. That's I'm not sure if that example really fits in, but like, yeah, what about this class and this students is unique, basically.
Okay. And then for the date part, what will I put for the date? Like the day I submit this little lesson plan thing, or
Yeah, I would put the day it's due.
Okay.
Even if you turn it in early, always just put the day it's due.
Okay. Okay, I think I am good for now. Yes.
Good luck. It seems like each time you're getting a little bit better at it. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
All right. So then I will log us out. I'm going to say we met online. and we went over the modified lesson. Sound good?
Yes. And it's
All
for the
right.
355, correct?
What was that?
Is it for the 355 course? The EC?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Good luck with this one. I'm glad to hear that your last one went a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, you have a good rest of your day, man.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Of course. Bye.
Okay.